U.S. intelligence agencies doing the dirty work of the deep state. They've manipulated and interfered in elections around the world. So what's the likelihood they'll do it this campaign season right here on the U.S. home front? Michael Waller is senior strategy analyst at the Center for Security Policy. He worked for the CIA in Central America. He's author of the new book, Big Intel: How the CIA and FBI Went from Cold War Heroes to Deep State Villains. Michael, before we discuss your book, I've got to ask you about a report out this week on Substack that alleges credible sources contend in 2016, CIA Director John Brennan had foreign allies known as the Five Eyes spy on 26 Trump associates to trigger the Russian collusion hoax. So if true, that would be an unprecedented illegal domestic election interference action on the part of the CIA and FBI. So do you believe they did that? What are your thoughts?
Yes, I do believe they did it because I heard indicators to that same effect years ago, just couldn't prove it. What the CIA did was they got around the federal law, which bans the CIA from spying on Americans at home and from getting involved in politics. But it doesn't ban the CIA from what they call intelligence sharing. That means collecting intelligence gathered by other countries. So they could ask our allies like the British or the Australians or even the Canadians to spy on American citizens and then share, in quotes, that intelligence with the CIA. That way they're getting around the law.
Well, and then they use that, right, to conduct the Crossfire Hurricane effort. Now, reporters Michael Schellenberger, Matt Taibbi, and Alex Gutenberg report a 10-inch binder exists that contains the raw intel from that surveillance effort. The info was ordered declassified by President Trump before he left office. So who do you think possesses that binder now, and why hasn't the information gone public?
I don't know who possesses it, but if you look at it, there was an executive order that Barack Obama signed the first day he was president, which was called the Presidential Records Act. And that allowed him and his designees to destroy a lot of presidential material. We don't know if this binder was destroyed or if somebody has it, but we do know that one of Obama's first acts as president was to arrange for the destruction of evidence in his administration before it all began.
Okay, well, let's get to your book now. J. Edgar Hoover was a staunch anti-communist. Both the FBI and CIA fought the good fight for the USA during the Cold War. So how did these agencies become politicized? How did we arrive at this point in our country?
Hoover had the FBI. He viewed his job as to serve his president. So he would do whatever any president of either party asked him to do. So he did have the eye spy on Democrats and Republicans on behalf of Democrat or Republican presidents, as well as what he thought was anybody involved in domestic subversion. There were no laws against that then, but there have been since. His view, though, was that the United States is a fundamentally Christian country whose Christian ethics have to be preserved at all costs, and who the communists and the anarchists and a lot of the newcomers, radicals coming in from Europe after World War I, were trying to overthrow. So he viewed his role in what became the FBI as to defend not just American law, but the American way. Nobody believes in the American way anymore at the top levels of the FBI and the CIA.
Well, have communists infiltrated the FBI and the CIA?
Well, the FBI was pretty impervious to it as long as Hoover was alive. The CIA, we had a problem because during World War II, setting up an intelligence service that we didn't have against the Nazis, Wild Bill Donovan in the Office of Strategic Services recruited a whole lot of communists and Soviet agents. They were later purged. Many went into the State Department. Some went back into the CIA. But more importantly, what came out of it was something that Hoover was warning about all along. And that was a Soviet-sponsored operation that became known as the Frankfurt School in Frankfurt, Germany, that was imported to the United States to develop critical theory, ways to look at the world, to smash the Judeo-Christian ethic of our country, of our society. They view themselves as what the CIA calls agents of change, or secret agents of change. They view themselves as at the vanguard of a cultural revolution here in our own country and spreading that abroad. So it's no longer defending the U.S. Constitution. So the FBI itself has said that diversity, equity, and inclusion is a core value for the FBI, meaning in the cultural Marxist way, and that it ranks exactly on par with the U.S. Constitution. So you can see how they're changing our society from within. And when you have somebody like Chuck Schumer, who warned Donald Trump in 2017 that the intelligence communities have 6 ways from Sunday to get you if you try to rein them in, even Chuck Schumer was admitting 7 years ago that these things are not under control anymore.
Then what do we do about it?
There's a lot we can do. As individual citizens this election year, our sheriffs are our last line of defense. And we never think of our sheriffs, but we vote for our sheriffs every election year as our chief local law enforcement officers. They have the power to keep the FBI and other federal agents from abusing the public in their jurisdictions. Usually they enable them by deputizing federal agents to enforce state laws. The sheriffs can stop that, and many of them can, and many of them do, but they need public support and public understanding of the issue. That's the first one. Second off is if Donald Trump is elected again, he needs to come in with a team that knows what it's doing, top to bottom, that has executive orders written, has legislation written so that it can be submitted to Congress and enshrined into law, and then repeal all the Obama and Biden executive orders that empowered this deep state against us.
Okay, the book is Big Intel: How the CIA and FBI Went from Cold War Heroes to Deep State Villains. Michael Waller, thanks for joining us and providing those insights. We appreciate it.
Great to be with you.